disclaimer at this point. I am not a phantasmagorical. I'm a naturalist.
Oh, whatever. All these people with their ists. I'm a this, I'm a that, I'm a fuck this. Well, fuck all your istising. God damn, what you are is full of shit. You're bullshittist.
I've been a naturalist for a long time, but I did go...
Yeah, what even is that? Okay, so a natural, I gotta presume you're something, somehow you get all wet over crude forces. You get all, oh yes, the praying mantis makes perfectly good sense. Yes, eat your prey from the belly up. Really good. Great, naturalist. Yes, nature is brilliant. Is it as brilliant as Matt? Nature is as brilliant as Matt, I'll agree with you.
I think neither did Kim advocate anything supernatural, nor did Matt. But because they don't believe exactly what Amendum believes, and because they won't say, as Amendum does, that nature sucks, somehow they don't have a valid argument.
Oh, come on. Matt has talked about, goddamn, if it's not supernatural for atoms to feel, I don't know what is supernatural. And as I stated, if it is their statement that their God is not infinitely intelligent, or even marginally intelligent, or, doesn't even have maybe 100 IQ, okay, fine. Then maybe we don't have a problem with this God. But like I said, what's the point of using the word God then? It's a complete deception, all right? Complete deception. You cannot use the word God to imply a semi-retarded creator. That is idiotic, all right? And when nature is looked at, it is retarded, okay? It has no ethics, no compassion. There are 5-year-old kids that have more compassion and ethics and understanding of right and wrong than nature does. That's just a motherfucking fact. So you have to make accountability for that somewhere. You have to say, okay, well, my God will justify the Holocaust, okay? In the end, when we all arise and emerge, in the new university thing or whatever, in the super wormhole or whatever the bullshit is, the volcano, the L. Ron Hubbard volcano, when we all circle around the volcano and the God is going to tell us the truth and explain, he's going to justify the Black Plague, right? He's going to fucking justify it and explain why he threw it on us, all right? And why that makes sense and why that's a great system. To have a bunch of sentient beings consuming each other. Why that makes perfectly brilliant sense. But until that fucking day, or until they have some proof that fucking volcano exists, they really have, they're talking shit. Complete and utter bullshit. This is a unicorn. This is a leprechaun. This is Santa Claus. This is the Easter rabbit. It has nothing to do with science. It has nothing to do with intelligence. And it has everything to do with complete and utter snake oil selling bullshit.
The only valid argument for Amendum is the acceptance of the metaphor that nature sucks. And it really is a metaphor. It's a way of looking at the world. Yeah,
well, whatever. Look, the word sucks isn't completely a metaphor, okay? We use the word sucks to describe things that are broken, okay? It's like, if your engine doesn't start, you say, damn, that fucking engine sucks. All right? That's the way it works. If your cell phone breaks, you say, God damn, that cell phone sucks. It's a piece of shit. All right? And that's what nature is. Nature is broken. It is not a brilliantly functioning, efficient machine. All right? It is a fucked up machine. It's consuming a ton of suffering to produce this little, oh, well, that guy got sex the other day and had an orgasm. Or that mother got to hug her little baby and got all goosebumpy inside. Okay, there we go. So for that we have Holocaust and dead people and suffering and cancer and Alzheimer's and people puking and shitting all over the fucking place. Yeah, that's how you figured it. That's a wonderfully efficient machine in your book, right? All the carnage left in our wake is just part of the brilliance. Yeah, come on, bullshit. Nature sucks. It's quite fucking obvious. All right, it's a long way from perfection. It's a long way from a running engine.
It is not objective reality. It is not objective scientific reality.
No, it's a logical argument. Okay, it's a stated fact backed with goddamn logical argument. That fucking simple. It's a description of motherfucking reality, okay, that has been backed up with a rational, logical fucking argument. Nature is not a brilliant idea.
And so that is the problem here. What is opinion and what is fact? And often...
Yeah, well, really, it all comes down to, do you believe that something intelligent created this farcical bullshit of animals eating animals? Or do you believe a fucking reproducing molecule is responsible? Okay? It's that simple. And those two questions, I think, can be answered rationally and logically based on the fucking evidence that the molecule has decided our fate. The molecule has imposed sentience into this idiotic, preposterous circumstance where it is consuming itself.
In that excerpt, he's doing to Kim what he always used to do to me, which is she doesn't talk in the same metaphor, she doesn't speak in the same way about the world as he does, and he doesn't...
Oh, whatever. So now you're going to make this excuse again that somehow when people say God, they don't mean God. All right, well, if they don't mean God, don't use the word fucking God. I mean, anybody who's been to college should understand that the word God, all right, has really has a ton of shit, ton of strings tied to it. If you don't mean God, then don't say God.
Approve of that. If you don't say nature sucks, you don't pass the litmus test for being a rational human being.
No, that has absolutely nothing to do. Okay, this is the second quote where I talk about the square wheels. All right, that's what she's talking about. And now she's bringing up the nature sucks thing again. What the fuck are you talking about? I was talking about the fact that we have dragged God into a modern conversation. We have no excuse to do that. 4,000 years ago, they had excuses to invent gods because they had no fucking way to understand why the things that were happening to them were happening to them. They had to point their finger and blame something. They had to find some kind of rationale for their fucking existence. So they invented one because they didn't know what a fucking DNA molecule was. They didn't know what the physical forces that made the world work were. So how the fuck could they come up with any other conclusion but a god, but something controlling them? All right, because they felt motherfucking controlled. But we don't have the same excuse. There's absolutely no excuse to take that retarded contrivance of the past, and that's all it is, a contrivance of ignorance, and to drag it into this modern day, after Darwin, after Einstein. No fucking excuse to drag that dirty word into this context. None. That's what I was talking about.
That is exactly the way Mendham feels about it. Now, that's fine. He can have any opinion.
It doesn't have anything to do with how I feel. I love nature, personally, okay? It does get me off, all right? But philosophically, I know it is a piece of motherfucking shit. All right, it hasn't got a brain, you dumb bitch.
That he wants, but he needs to know he's expressing opinions, and most often he is expressing opinions, not scientific objectives.
Fuck you. I'm expressing opinions backed up with logical arguments, something you never do, and factually based logical arguments, okay? DNA, I talk about the DNA, the thing you won't even go near. The DNA molecule that only has two ambitions, consumption and reproduction, all right? The forces that have controlled our evolution, but you won't talk about those, because those are facts.
Fact. The world does suffer, and it suffers because there are sentient creatures on this planet. I agree with all of that stuff about that, and I do think that's a big problem. I think if we...
But it's not just a big problem, it's a big problem with the creator's competence. That's what's a big problem with, okay? It's a huge problem. It's not just a big problem, it's a huge problem. Our whole existence has been built by a broken concept, a concept where there is no regulator, no controller to prevent too much suffering for being adored for too much addictive pleasure.
We tell ourselves that the world sucks all the time, we're going to have some real problems.
Yeah, the real problem will be is we won't be able to keep making excuses for perpetuating the insanity. We'll actually have to fix the world, okay? Because we won't be able to justify it anymore. We won't be able to say, oh, well, 6 million people died, too bad, we can't do anything about it. Oh, people are violent by nature, too bad, can't do anything about it. No, we're going to have to decide to do something about it. All right, because then we're going to have to recognize the brick wall facts, okay, that our intelligence will go absolutely nowhere if we keep letting our biology control it. Because all we're going to do is blow ourselves into a cinder one way or another.